Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be doing another Walter's World reaction, and this one's going to be Luxembourg, so the don'ts of Luxembourg. I've done some Walter's World reactions in the past, and I've always enjoyed them. Always good videos, so make sure you check out his channel. Great videos. There will be a link to this original video that I'll be reacting to in the description section down below. So without further ado, we're going to jump on into it and find out what the don'ts of Luxembourg is.
Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Walter's World. Today we're here in Luxembourg City in Luxembourg, and this country has a lot of things to do in such a small space. But we're not going to talk about just the do's today. What we're going to actually talk about are the don'ts of visiting Luxembourg. And one of the don'ts I've actually seen when I've been walking around here is don't worry about crossing the street because everybody will stop for you. You know, there's certain places like in Toronto, the traffic always stops for the pedestrians. Here is definitely one of those places. So the buses, the taxis, the drivers, the bikes, they all seem to stop for you, which is really cool as a tourist because you're looking around and taking in all the beautiful architecture and the palace and the churches and stuff like that, and hey, you're not worried about getting hit, so it's kind of a funny thing.
That's definitely interesting because that is not something that, it's not like that here. Like, you will get hit. Don't just be wandering around in the streets in America. The cars, they're not going to try to hit you, right? But they're not just expecting to be stopping for people, or they're not going to expect somebody to just walk out in front of them at all, so don't do that here.
We'll tell you, it will be a little bit of consternation for you if you're driving here or if you're in a taxi wanting to hurry, because they will wait for the pedestrians all the time. So I just want to give you the heads up to start off with that one. My second don't for you is don't expect to see a lot of Luxembourgers or Luxembourgers when you are here. Though there's 600,000 people that live in Luxembourg, only about half the actual population are Luxembourgers, okay? And the thing is this is a very international, very diverse country. So, you know, about 50% of the people aren't from here, and so you'll see a big Portuguese population. I know when I walk into the stores every time I come here, I get so excited to see the Superboc and Sumo from Portugal. I'm like, yes, I'm back in my old land. It's so cool. But the thing is, kind of a typical Luxembourg family these days is maybe the mom's from France, the dad's from Spain, and the kids were born here in Luxembourg. And so it's a very international place. So you have international restaurants, tons and tons of different languages. You'll hear German, you'll hear French, and everyone else will also speak English, and you'll hear actually some Luxembourgish occasionally as well. So you do have that, but you know what?
Why did it show the Dutch flag? I mean, I know Luxembourg was part of the Dutch Empire at one point, but it's not anymore, right? So, I don't know. Dutch embassy, possibly?
Expect to meet a local, but if you do, get a picture of them so you can prove that they exist. It's like it's like when you see a leprechaun, like, oh, there's one, I saw one. And so it's the same thing with the Luxembourgers. Now, the next don't I have for you is don't worry about the ups and downs here in Luxembourg City. So down behind me, you have the Grund. That's down below. That's the old center of the city. And so you can go down there. There's nice little, you know, small passageways and the small alleys and stuff like that. There's not a lot of shops and things like that, but it's wonderful to walk around. You've got the Natural History Museums down there. You got the Neumünster that's right behind me. You can see that. It is a nice place to go, but it's way down there. And then you have the up part of the city, okay? And there you have the Notre Dame Church you can go into there. The cathedral you can go into. You go to...
What's I mean? He's like, oh, but it's really far down there. Like, is it very hard to get to? Is it hard? Is there only like one little staircase that kind of like goes to that section or something? Like, it's you know what I mean? He's making it seem like it's just a hard to reach area of the city, like down low or whatever. I don't know.
St. Michael's, which is right over here. You can go to the casements that are right over there. It's the old fortification, like caves that you can go through, and it's really cool. And you're going to see all these things, but there's some up and there's some down. And some people go,
that's fun.
I don't want to walk down there. That's a long ways to go and come back up. Don't worry. There's a couple elevators that actually take you down and bring you back up, so you can enjoy both of them. And because I would say going down to the Grund is definitely much more of a relaxing place to go, and like you'll be more by yourself than if you're up here in the upper city. So do have a heads up for that.
What is that then? Like, is there like a wall around it and then it's like elevated? Like, there's the elevator. So it's almost like two separate cities then, right? I mean, just beside each other. That's very interesting. I didn't know anything about that.
Now, with the upper city and lower city, it kind of gets me thinking about another don't I have for you is don't forget to bring a good pair of walking shoes, because walking around...
No, that's also like a Dutch flag, right? Or is the Luxembourg flag very similar?
The city, I mean, it's very compact. You can see pretty much all the upper city in a couple hours just walking around, and going to the Grund and other parts down there, you're going to be walking around, but it's a lot of walking around and a lot of hills and up and down. It's really important that you have a good pair of walking shoes, because you can walk along the Corniche, basically what those calls their balcony, this basically nice little walkway that I'm on right here to overlook and see the Grund and see all kinds of places, but you're going to be doing a lot of walking, and you don't want your dogs barking when you're here, okay? So make sure you got some good shoes. Now, my next tip for you is when you're walking around and you're seeing all this beautiful architecture, you're going to see some pretty fancy stores as well, and you might want to do a little bit of shopping when you're in Luxembourg. But the thing is, don't expect to do any shopping in the evening or on Sundays, because you know what, in the evenings they close the shops early, so you're not going to get a lot of shopping done at night. So make sure you're doing your shopping during the day, and then enjoy the outdoor cafes and stuff like that during the evening times, where you can have some some drinks and some bites and stuff like that, because that's what you're going to do. It's not nighttime shopping here, sadly. So one of the things you'll notice when you're shopping or when you're going out to restaurants and something like that is the service here. And my don't for that is, don't expect friendly service. Don't expect over-the-top service. Don't expect helpful service.
You know, I've seen in the comments section, which we can check out right here, this comment says, I've been living here for 15 years. The service isn't bad at all. It's actually great. What you don't find is fake smiles, excessive pleasantries, and waitresses pretending they adore you. So, good point, good point.
A lot of times you'll be going into shops or different places, and it seems like they're gifting you the chance that you get to shop there or you get to be there. I mean, it's been a couple times our kids had said, did something happen that the shop attendant was mad at you, Mom, or mad at you, Dad? And I'm like, no, I just wanted to spend money. I just wanted to get some water. I wanted to get a shirt. I wanted to get you guys some souvenir. And you're like, what the heck? And it's funny because my French friends that are here even mentioned, like, yeah, even for the French, we find their service here pretty bad in Luxembourg. So just have a heads up for that. There's no point to get upset, because believe me, they're treating everyone the same way. So just realize that everybody's getting bad service and you'll be okay, all right? It just helps you get through that a bit so you don't get as frustrated. Now, another service that tourists like to use is like Uber and Lyft, and so my don't for that
does everybody get bad service, or did they just didn't like him? Who knows, right? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section.
Is don't expect to find Lyft or Uber when you are here in Luxembourg. Their taxi systems, you can get apps for the different like web taxi and stuff like that, so you can get their taxis that'll come pick you up all over the country and take you all over. They are a bit pricier than what you were usually typical getting with like an Uber or something like that, but they do come. And we were staying out in one of the far out villages, and they still came and got us at 1 o'clock in the morning, so it's not really a problem. But don't think you're going to have Uber or Lyft. You're going to have to use the taxis when you're here. And the thing is, I guess another thing that would go off of that is also the taxis are a little pricey. So maybe don't skip getting the Luxembourg card when you're here, because it gives you free public transportation around Luxembourg, the Luxembourg city and stuff like that, which is awesome because there's buses that go all over the place and it's pretty efficient. So you can use that. So maybe don't feel you have to take taxis, but get the public transportation. That card can really help out. Now, my next don't has to do with how long you're going to stay here. Don't think that you need more than a weekend to really enjoy Luxembourg, because since it is a relatively small country, I mean, it's like, 80, 90 miles up and down, 50, 60 miles across, so it's not super huge. So you can get to a lot of places, and they have public transportation that will get you to a lot of places too, but you don't need a super ton of time, because you can really wander the city here in Luxembourg City and see some of the good museums. The Museum of Modern Art's really cool when you're here, and there's the natural history. There's some other ones here to check out. Occasionally you go into the Grand Ducal Palace and things like that. But it's not like there's tons and tons and tons of stuff to do, so you can go out and explore other things. But don't think you have to spend a lot of time here. And kind of leading off that, don't think you need to spend more than a weekend, is don't think that this country is too small to visit, because there is more to see than just Luxembourg City, because there's tons of castles all over Luxembourg, because this is kind of like a crossroads throughout Europe. So there's all kinds of really cool castles to see throughout the country. And probably the easiest castle to get to when you are here is the Vianden Castle. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, but at least I spelled it right down below. It's pretty easy to get to. There's a nice little village there as well you can check out. So it can be your afternoon day trip when you're here in Luxembourg City, basing yourself here. There's also the village of Echternot, which is a nice little village you can go see. The St. Peter and Paul Church is there. It's worth visiting as well. And you can also go up to the Ardennes and the kind of like the hilly region in the north.
This must be the caves he's talking about, right? I don't know. It looks cool. Looks old.
So there's plenty of stuff to see and do when you're here for a nice, robust weekend trip, but not more than that, okay? You don't need to spend too much more there, because you're not going to want to, because my next don't for you is don't think it's going to be cheap coming here. Luxembourg is one of the most one of the richest countries in the world, and the prices reflect that in accommodation, in going out to eat, going out to drink, buying stuff, things like that. You're going to spend a pretty penny when you're here. That's what I'm saying is do this as a weekend. You got more time? Go to France, it's cheaper. Go to Belgium or Germany, it's cheaper to go there. And the thing is, you'll see that in the people, because a lot of people actually that work here, they actually live in France or live in Germany or Belgium, and then they commute in because it's so much cheaper not to live here. So don't be surprised if you're like, wow, how did I spend so much money here when I was only here for a weekend? That's Luxembourg. Now, I kind of related a little bit this before when I was talking about how, you know, the shops close a little bit earlier and people like to live a little bit farther out of the city, like in other countries. And that kind of leads into our next don't, which is don't expect to see a lot of people out and about in the evening times. Because so many people live outside the city and, you know, it is rather expensive here, you don't have a lot really going on at night. And so when you wander around in the evening, it's almost like you have this whole European capital to yourself, which is kind of a cool experience. If you're staying in town, it will be worth your money because you will be like having a city to yourself.
That would be cool though. It'd be a little bit more like private, like, you know what I mean? You wouldn't have the busyness. You could just, like you said, you know, more peaceful and stuff. You can go explore, go look at cool castles or whatever.
Another don't I have for you, which a lot of our travelers like to always ask about, is Wi-Fi. Hey, in Luxembourg City, you don't have to worry about Wi-Fi. They actually have free Wi-Fi throughout the city, so you can just log on and have that and share your Instagram pictures of going in the casements or going to the Grund or seeing the Golden Lady and stuff like that. You do have those things, so that's kind of cool. But one thing you won't see too many Instagram pictures of is the food here. And my don't for that is, don't think it's going to be easy to find Luxembourg food when you are here. Now, there's some stuff you can have, like they have some dumplings that are nice, and the wine for the Mosel River region, yeah, that's some good wine, you can have that. But in general, what you're going to have when you're here is you're going to have international food. You're going to have Italian food, Greek food, Portuguese food. And the thing is, the Italian restaurants are with Italians running the whole thing, and the Greek restaurants is a Greek family running it, and the Portuguese restaurants, the Portuguese families running it. Because it's such an international city, the food here is really good from all the different countries that are there, because the people are from there and they know what it's supposed to taste like. So you actually eat really well. So when you spend a lot of money, you're not really that upset because the food is pretty good. But don't expect to find too much Luxembourg food when you're out there. Even at the grocery stores, it's a little bit tough to find some of it, so just have a heads up for that. And my last don't for you is, don't think it's too hard to get here. Look, getting from Paris, if you want to do a day trip from Paris, you actually can. You can take a TGV. It's only about 2.5 hours to get from the Paris Gare d'Est to here in Luxembourg, and then 2.5 hours back.
I feel like it's like that everywhere in Europe. Like everything's just a couple, 2.5 hours away though. You know what I mean? Like it's just so close. That's something I'm not used to here. And you know, it's a big country. I can't just go from here to Texas in a couple hours. It's not gonna happen. Probably take a couple days or something. I don't even know how long. I've never checked into it, but it's just crazy.
So you leave in the morning, you can spend the whole day here, then head back in the evening, you know, leaving like the workers and heading back to France and stuff like that. Or you can go, if you want to go to Belgium, it's not too far either. We came from Brussels, about another 2.5 hour ride there, not bad at all. So you can actually make it an easy day trip from either of those places. Also, you can come in from Germany too. So there's a lot of options for you to get here and enjoy here. And I hope this video helps you know a bit more about Luxembourg, because a lot of people don't really know anything about it. They know it's that little tiny country there that's somewhere between like Germany and Belgium and France. Yeah, it's between all three. So they do have that. So I hope this helps you know a bit more what not to do when you're here, so you can enjoy more of what you do when you do come here. Anyway, if you want to learn more, maybe you want to learn about Belgium or France or Germany, some of the neighboring countries and their cultures, check us out on our website at waltersworld.com. We're also on Twitter.
All right, so that was the don'ts of Luxembourg. So if you guys got any more don'ts, let me know in the comment section down below. If he's correct on some of these, wrong on some of these, whatever, right? What's your input? Anyways, yeah, I just figured I'd learn a little bit more about Luxembourg because it is a little small country that a lot of people don't know about. So we're going to be learning together. Anyways, you guys have a super fun, awesome day. I will catch you in the next one. All right, take care. Bye.